In the previous video, we explored the key concepts to economics. Two of the most important concepts are scarcity and choice. It is because of scarcity that we need to make choices as to how to best use our resources. It is said that without scarcity, if resources were unlimited, then we wouldn't need to make such choices, and there wouldn't be a need for economics at all. In this way, economics is actually a study of human behavior and the choices that we make. Or, more scientifically put, economics is the study of choices leading to the best possible use of scarce resources in order to best satisfy unlimited human needs and wants. The problem of choice. To understand the choices economies need to make, we first need to know what resources are available. We call these resources the factors of production, and they can be grouped into four main categories: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Let's break them down. Land. Land isn't just the ground we walk on. In economics, it includes all natural resources. So think about everything you find on, in, or under the earth. This could be the actual land itself, which you could rent out, farmland where you grow vegetables to sell, even valuable things you dig out of the ground, like oil or minerals. These are all natural gifts from the earth that we use to produce things. Labor. Labor is all about human effort. This includes both the physical work people do and the mental effort, like thinking and coming up with ideas. So whether someone is building a house with their hands or designing a new app on a computer, both are considered labor. It's all the skills, knowledge, and experience that workers bring to the table. Now, capital can be a bit tricky because we use this word in different ways. In economics, when we say capital, we're usually talking about physical capital or capital goods. These are man-made resources used to produce other goods and services. Here's an important point, and a common mistake a lot of students make. Money is not considered capital goods in economics. While money is definitely a resource, and we use it to buy things that help us produce, we don't directly use money itself to make products. For example, you use money to buy a sewing machine, but it's the sewing machine that actually helps you make clothes, not the money itself. So, as you can see from the definition, it is not a capital good. We have a different name for money used as a resource, called financial capital. So, when we talk about capital in economics, we mean things like tools, equipment, machinery, factories, and even ingredients that a producer uses to make their final product. These are all things that help us produce more efficiently. Entrepreneurship. Finally, we have entrepreneurship. This is the special human skill that brings the other three factors together. An entrepreneur is someone who comes up with new ideas, takes risks to start new businesses, and finds new, more efficient ways to produce things. You could say this is one of the most important factors. Without entrepreneurs, an economy wouldn't really exist. Imagine a world where no one started new businesses or came up with new products. Life would be much harder. Entrepreneurs are essential because they take on the hard work and risks involved in creating new goods and services for society. So, we now know we have limited resources, but our wants and needs are unlimited. This brings up a big long-term problem. If we're not careful, we could run out of resources. This is where the idea of sustainability comes in. Sustainability means meeting our needs today without stopping future generations from meeting their own needs. Economic growth often means producing more goods and services, which can use up natural resources or increase pollution. It'd be very easy for us to use up or damage many resources right now just to make the most profit. To make sure our society lasts a long time, we need to encourage businesses to use resources wisely. For example, forests should be replanted, fish populations should be given time to recover, and soil should be cared for. This way, the quantity and quality of these resources can be maintained for the future. Again, it all comes back to scarcity. Because resources are limited, we have to make smart choices, not just about what resources we use, but how we use them, keeping future generations in mind. Here's another super important idea in economics that you'll hear about again and again: opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the value of the next best thing you give up when you make a choice. Simply put, whenever you decide to do one thing, you're automatically choosing not to do something else. The value of that something else you didn't pick is your opportunity cost. Let's use an example. Right now, you're watching this video to learn economics, but you could be doing other things, right? Maybe watching TV, playing a game, or studying another subject. When you chose to watch this video, you gave up the chance to do those other things. Your opportunity cost is the value of the thing you didn't choose. For example, the value of the time you could have spent studying math. This doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. Maybe learning economics was more important for you right now. The point is that every choice has an opportunity cost. Thinking about what you're giving up can help you make better decisions. Because our resources are limited, we always have to make choices, and that means there's always an opportunity cost. If resources were unlimited, we could do everything, and there would be no need to give anything up. But what if something isn't scarce? What if it's unlimited, like the air we breathe? In economics, something that isn't scarce and has no opportunity cost is called a free good. You don't have to give up anything to use it. However, truly free goods are incredibly rare. Even clean, healthy air can become limited in a polluted city, leading to a need for air filters or health problems. So most things in the world have some kind of opportunity cost, and we call these economic goods. Every society, no matter how it's organized, has to answer three fundamental questions because of scarcity and opportunity cost. These are: what or how much to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. Let's look at each one. What or how much to produce? This question is about deciding what goods and services are most important for society. A classic example is guns versus butter. Should a society produce more military goods, guns, to defend itself, or more consumer goods, butter, like food and clothing? If you focus too much on guns, your people might not have enough to eat. If you focus too much on butter, your society might be vulnerable to attack. The goal is to find a balance that best meets the society's needs, always considering the trade-offs involved.
How to produce. Once a society decides what to produce, it needs to figure out how to make it. This involves choosing the best mix of resources: land, labor, and capital. For instance, should we use more machines or capital to produce things quickly and efficiently, or should we hire more workers, labor, even if it's slower, to create more jobs and give people income to spend? Each choice has its own benefits and costs, or more accurately, opportunity costs.
For whom to produce? This question deals with how the goods and services produced are distributed among the people in a society. Should everyone get an equal share? Should those who earn more get more goods? This brings up another key economic idea: equity. Is it fair for richer people to buy more goods than poorer people? Or should some essential goods, like healthcare and education, be distributed more equally? Societies have to consider these questions when deciding who gets what. So, how do societies answer these three basic economic questions? Primarily, they do it through either markets or government intervention. The free market approach is like letting everyone make their own choices, and the economy sorts itself out. This idea is often called the invisible hand. It assumes that if everyone acts in their own self-interest, the market will naturally work well without much outside help. In a free market, what to produce is decided by what customers demand. Businesses will make what people want to buy. How to produce is decided by businesses choosing the cheapest and most efficient ways. For whom to produce is decided by who has the money to pay. If you can afford it, you get it. In this system, individuals making their own decisions unknowingly answer the big economic questions for the whole society. On the complete opposite side is the planned economy or command economy. Here, the government alone makes all the decisions about the economic questions based on what it thinks is best for society. In a planned economy, the government usually focuses on basic needs and things like what to produce. They might prioritize military defense, healthcare, food, and housing for everyone. How to produce. The government often owns and controls the factories and resources, deciding how they are used. For whom to produce. The government decides how goods are distributed among the people, often aiming for more equality. In reality, no economy is purely free market or purely planned. Even in countries with strong governments, some decisions are still made by individuals in the market, and even very free markets have some government rules. This is why all societies are a mixed economy to some degree. They combine elements of both systems. Generally, most resources are owned privately. But the government owns or controls key industries like healthcare, defense, and public utilities like electricity or water. Markets are mostly allowed to allocate resources, but the government steps in to fix problems like pollution, provide public goods like roads, redistribute income, and keep the economy stable. So, there you have it. Understanding the problem of choice, the factors of production, opportunity cost, and how different economic systems answer those big questions is fundamental to understanding economics. It all boils down to how societies decide to use their limited resources to satisfy our unlimited wants. In our next video, we'll explore even more fascinating economic concepts, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. See you next time!